I think crypto alone won't make a switch, but crypto combined with high income, it can. And there's this one guy in Crypto Mastermind I'm still part of that really helped me understand this lesson. So Sebastian, if you're watching this video, thank you a lot. I really appreciate you. When I first got into crypto between 2020 and 2021, my game plan was literally just to find a few 100x projects, then repeat that few times, and I'd be set for life. About half a year into my journey, I started to realize that this was a little bit more difficult than what I expected. The difficult thing wasn't getting into crypto projects early. The difficult thing was getting into great crypto projects early that would later on do well. It is incredibly hard to predict which projects will take off and when just hitting it home one time or catching a great project once is hard. It's also really hard to repeat, so it wasn't that great of a game plan to rely on getting wealthy. And again, months went by, I still didn't give up. I still tried to find the next hot crypto gen, scrolling all these Twitter, Discord, Telegram channels, because I thought still that crypto was about finding those things and I'd be set for life. I didn't want to give up on the idea. And I did manage to catch a few 2x, 5x projects, which was great considering it was my first year in crypto journey. But that was about it, and it was mostly due to the fact that there was this crazy bull market, the money printing in 2020 and 21 caused all these asset classes to go crazy. And anyways, those returns didn't turn out to be anything meaningful because I didn't have much money invested in them, because I just simply didn't have and couldn't put the money back then. Again, months went by, but I slowly started to realize that the problem wasn't the fact that I wasn't doing the right things. Like, I was focusing on the right things and improving as an investor. But the problem was majority of the crypto projects prices out there, they are heavily dependent on what Bitcoin does. And again, whether Bitcoin goes up or down, it's still heavily dependent on what's happening in the S&P 500 and what's the sentiment in the overall macro environment. And those are things we literally can't control and affect in any way. And even if Bitcoin was behaving well and the sentiment in the macro environment was really good, I would say 98% of crypto is still more about those so-called boring gains. Of course, there are special situations when a new narrative comes up. There are these projects that do 10x, 100x, but those are at the big picture quite rare. I think the core reason why most of crypto is this so-called boring games is the fact that it takes a of time for these crypto companies to build great products that would then attract users, which would then bring attention to the project and its coin price. It's a hard thing to do, and after all, like 90% of the crypto projects that we are currently seeing right now, like they won't be here after 5 years, they will fail. So when I personally started to put all this together, I started to realize that maybe crypto alone wasn't the greatest game plan to rely on getting wealthy. Another thing I realized that when most of crypto is those so-called boring gains, of course they're a little bit better than in like the traditional stock market, we need a quite large portfolio for the returns to turn anything meaningful. For example, let's say you have this $10,000 portfolio and you get like a 60% return on the first year of your crypto journey, which is still great and really hard to repeat for multiple years. You now made 6k in profits, which wouldn't probably affect your life that much, right? On the other hand, let's say you have a 1 million portfolio and you get like a 15% return, which is far more repeatable and sustainable for year after year. So you make a 15% return the first year, you're up like 150,000, which would probably impact your life in many ways. Now, if we jump back to the first year of my crypto journey, after realizing this, I started to also realize that I would need a large income coming in every month, be able to build a large portfolio considerably fast, because if you're able to put aside a few $100s a month, it's gonna take ages to build a 1 million, 2 million portfolio, and not any of us want to wait 40 to 50 years before we'll be doing financial well, right? To get that highly monthly income, I started to also realize that I would either need a high income job or business that would do well. If you look at the top crypto guys like Alex Becker, Elliot Trades, or Miles Deutscher, hope I didn't butcher his name, they all have something they are building, and I would bet that they make most of their money from the thing they are building, so their business, compared to just by purely investing into crypto coins. This was also a common theme and one of the first things I noticed in many of these crypto masterminds that I joined back then and I'm still part of. Many of these guys and girls with multi-7-figure portfolios, they often had already a business that was doing incredibly well or high income job before they even got into crypto, which would then allow them to plow multiple thousands a month to the projects they had the most conviction on. And more importantly, I noticed that because of this, they could give the investments enough time to prove themselves and let the compounding do the work, and also not freak out when volatile times came in crypto, because crypto wasn't their primary source of income or the way they paid their bills. But yeah, the biggest earners I've personally ever come across in this space, and the people who have had the biggest leaps, have been the people who are building things that create enormous value in the marketplace, and that has been the primary thing that they have been focusing on. And the bigger and more problems you solve, the more you often get paid. And thank you to Charlie Morgan, one of my first mentors, who really helped me understand this lesson. Luckily, there are many things we can do to create value in this marketplace and then get paid and get our income job. And as many of these people watching this channel are probably crypto enthusiasts, I will use that as an example. You could build an audience and they'll sell ad space to crypto brands, or you could use that audience to launch your own product, or you could work for a crypto company. Anyways, the first year of my crypto journey really taught me that I think we should first invest into ourselves and the things we are building before we look into investing into some other people, crypto projects. Because when we invest into ourselves or the things we are building, the returns are far more predictable and controllable. I think our earning potential is in basically direct correlation between cost and effects. So the more and bigger problems you solve, the more you get paid. Unlike investing into some other people's crypto projects, there's little or none you can do to affect the return you're gonna get. The biggest barrier, I think, for many will be, and at least was for me, the fact that we know we have to put quite a bit of time and work to get the thing working. When you start working on your thing, you have to deal with this continuous uncertainty of whether the thing will work or not. I realized that when you get into this journey and you, for example, start building a business, you have to acquire so many skills like sales, marketing, how to build a product. These skills take years to learn, especially if you don't have a background in them. And there can and will be times where you potentially won't see any financial returns on the thing you're doing, which can make it really devastating and hard to continue working on. But the cool thing I've noticed that when you master and develop these so-called high-income skills, you will have them rest for your life, and there's really no one that can take them away from you. And as long as this world keeps breathing and the economy keeps growing, there will be demand for these skills, and whenever you need money, you can tap into your skills. After all, I think we men are the happiest when we are building things that we find meaningful, when we crush obstacles and challenges. Like, progress makes us feel alive, so what better thing we have to do? Luckily, life is not binary, so I think you can still do both. So you can build things and invest into crypto projects, because I've noticed that managing upkeeping your investments, they don't after all require that much time. But I think the priority of order should be really considered. So which one of these things you spend most of your time on. But yeah, these are just my opinions. Hope you found this quick video valuable. I have really nothing else to add. Yeah,